Closer look at the results. So Miami University professor John Forren is here to break down some of the results and what many analysts are calling a stunning political comeback for the former president.
Morning, John. How you doing? This was a surprising victory for many, for Donald Trump, because of how many of those key states that he won. Was it a surprise to you, looking at the way it all shook out now?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, this is an unprecedented outcome, clearly, an unprecedented campaign in several respects, including a change in party nominees in midsummer. So it's awfully hard to draw major conclusions, hours after voting had stopped. But I would suspect that if we're looking back in the future, when we look back on this campaign, that we might conclude ultimately that this is one of those elections where the campaign itself probably didn't make much of a difference. There were structural elements here, high inflation, the lagging effects of the COVID pandemic, and large numbers of Americans indicating that they felt the country was on the wrong track. It's a pretty tough environment for an incumbent administration in any context. So in that sense, this may be one of those campaigns where the outcome may have been baked in long ago.
Yeah, Professor, when you look at the Harris camp here, of course, she had a short campaigning window going on the ticket after President Biden dropped out. Looking at this, though, the vice presidential pick, the vice president doesn't win, but a lot of folks are saying that maybe she should have went with Shapiro from Pennsylvania, given how close that race was. Do you think that's something they're going to look back at and think, did we make the right choice?
Oh, I think that I think that's already happening probably. So just like any party that's lost a national election, which has happened here, the postmortems have already begun. And that one of the questions will be, what could she have done differently? And did the vice presidential pick ultimately matter? It's too early to know, obviously, and maybe we'll never know that ultimately. Although what seems to have happened here, not just on the president, again, we're looking at this early, but not just at the presidential level, but in Senate races, there was appears to have been a general shift to the right by the country nationally, even in blue states, that became less blue. And so I think there's something bigger that's going on that, my read on that is that the vice presidential pick probably was not a major factor here. But again, there will be lots of folks in the parties who are going to be taking a close look at this, because the Democratic Party this morning has to be starting the process of regrouping. What happened here? And this was an outcome that none of the polls really predicted or picked up on. So it is pretty stunning in that sense. So there's a whole lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda happening probably right now, too, and also a lot more systematic analysis to come.
John, on some of the sound bites from Kamala Harris, did two things. Did it hurt her, the fact that it seems like every time somebody asked her, what would you do differently since you were with the Biden administration for the last 4 years, and her answer was that she wouldn't have changed anything. Did that resonate with people because of the way they're feeling about the economy? And since Grover Cleveland is the only other person who's done a double presidency like this, was his equally as contentious, or was it a little different back in the day?
Well, the Grover Cleveland parallel is an interesting one here. The modern campaigns are much different now. There's so much that was unique to this campaign, including social media, including most significantly a midsummer shift in candidates and essentially a rebooting of the race from that point. It is too early to know ultimately, and I'm not sure we ultimately will know sort of what were the big factors here. But my read on this is we in trying to understand what has happened here. First of all, I think it's clear that the Republican Party, this is a clear win, and so in that sense, they have a mandate to govern, and they also have at the national level clearly a responsibility to govern. They now will control all of the major levers of power in Washington, and the president-elect has made some big promises actually, and so now the responsibility to pursue those promises, I think, becomes the next step ultimately.
All right. John Forren, great to have you on this morning, and hopefully we'll talk again. It was a really wild night, for sure.